YouTubers, Linda here. I've got to tell y'all about something that happened to me about a month ago. This is the middle of July, July 11th. I had a visit from an angelic presence, but I couldn't see the angel, at least not this time. I've seen other angels here in the last year, but I didn't see this one. I was getting ready for my Wings of Prophecy group meeting in McKinney, in the June meeting, about mid-June. And I was standing in front of my bathroom mirror, just, praying for the meeting like I always do, and just getting ready. And all of a sudden, I felt this incredible holy presence coming into the house. I didn't see anything, but I felt like a combination of beauty and holiness, but really, really strong. And I was kind of standing there going, wow, whatever that is. And all of a sudden I felt eternity. It's hard to describe. There's not really any way you can describe it except eternity. I have spent years trying to comprehend eternity, and my mind was never able to wrap around it. But suddenly it felt as if something opened up between the throne of God and me, and I could feel him. I could feel, it doesn't feel the same as the presence of Jesus around you, which feels like warmth and love and all that. This is totally different. The next thing I felt was the most terrible, awe-inspiring fear I have ever felt in my life. And suddenly I understood how fearful it really will be to stand on the day of judgment. If it had lasted any longer, I would have been on my face. I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And I am radically sold out. My entire life is nothing but Jesus, and trying very hard to walk in as much holiness as possible. And I was scared half out of my wits. I definitely would not want to be a non-believer on that day, or someone who lived in sin. I wouldn't want to be there in their shoes. It was terrifying. It was so terrifying. I walked out of there and walked into the rest of my house just to see if I could see anything, because I'm thinking at that point, the level of holiness I felt, there's like burn marks on the ceiling or, something. There weren't. I knew it couldn't be God, because if it had been God, it would burn the house down. Anyway, there are different types of angelic visits, and I have seen visions of angels that brought things to people, and I've also heard about, I've read stories of angels that, I read a story about one lady that the angel literally, she got a prophetic word in a meeting, God's going to give you a new heart, and an angel, she saw an angel and felt it reach into her chest and literally replace her heart. So angels bring you things. Obviously, we know from the Bible that angels bring messages. They're not always the awe-inspiring, fear-inspiring angels, though. I've noticed there's a difference. In Genesis, an angel appeared to Hagar when she fled into the desert and said, or fled from, not to the desert, but she fled from Sarah because Sarah was beating her, I think. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, this is Genesis 16:11, the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and thou shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And then at Genesis 19:1, this is when Lot was there, and there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So he bowed, but it doesn't say anything about him being afraid. And it does not say that Hagar was afraid. But in other passages, we see that not only are men afraid, but even animals. In Numbers 22:27, it's talking about the donkey that Balaam was riding on. It says, and when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote her with a staff. Numbers 22:31. Okay, now here's when Balaam sees the angel. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. Now here is in Luke 1:10 to 12. It's talking about Zacharias, the father of John the Baptist. The whole multitude of the people were praying without, meaning outside the temple, at the time of incense. And he was the high priest for that particular cycle. And he was offering incense that time. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. Now, if I remember right, that was the angel Gabriel. So, I didn't see the angel. It didn't give me a message, but I know one was here. Because you can't feel that and not know that something from heaven has stepped into your realm. If anybody knows any other reasons why angels visit other than to bring you something or to give you a message, please post a comment because I want to know. And has anyone else ever had experiences like this? This happened right after a 3-day fast when God had taken me very deep into worship. I had worshiped for that one morning he drew me into worship. I worshiped for over 2 hours before I stopped and didn't even want to stop then. But he had been taking me very deep in worship in my prayer time. And I don't know if that had something to do with it or what. But I would love to hear about your experiences. If you've seen an angel, if you've encountered the presence without seeing it, it doesn't mean it wasn't there. It just means you didn't see it. I believe with all my heart that here in the end times, seeing the angels is going to become very common to us. I believe that we're going to see them pretty regularly. We're going to see what they do, or see them around us, or see them helping us, or whatever. I'm really excited that one visited me, even though I don't know what it brought, because I'm sure that it brought something good. I'm pretty sure they don't just make house calls for no reason because they have better things to do, honestly. They only do what the Lord tells them to do. And the Lord wouldn't just say, hey, go down there and, drop in on her house. He always has a purpose for what he does. And I don't think he's going to have them just, walking around on earth for no reason. I think that they are either bringing you something. If they don't give you a message, they brought something. You may not know what it is right away. But you will eventually. So, unless they're down here fighting a battle, and it could always be that. But anyway, post your comments. I'd love to hear your stories of angelic encounters, and I hope that this blesses you somehow. And y'all have a great week next week. God bless you.